Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Well, okay. We found out that Rick McCallum, he was like a Lucasfilm producer and stuff on the
Like a
young. He
Lucasfilm
was. He was
producer?
Lucas's producer on the Young Indiana Jones TV series. Did work on the prequel trilogy as well. And
Yeah, he was like the producer. He was a big deal.
yes. Well, a couple weeks ago, week and a half, something like that, he was on the Young Indie Chronicles podcast.
They have a podcast for that. They have a good podcast for everything. Not that
Well,
I have anything against the Young Indiana Jones. Good stuff if you've never seen it.
they decided they were going to talk about the Star Wars Underworld project.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, just like a couple of years ago, it feels like they released all that footage,
Yeah,
like computer-generated footage of what it was going to be like.
Yeah, it was like
Remember?
it was like a real, not just computer, like the backgrounds and stuff were, but it was like 4 or 5 years ago they released like their test footage, and it was a lot of CGI stuff, but it was actually like full on in stormtroopers and all in stormtroopers, in stormtrooper armor and everything. It was pretty cool.
Well, he did say a few things about it. He said, describing the show, these were dark, these were sexy, they were violent, they were just absolutely wonderful, complicated, challenging. I mean, it would have blown up the whole Star Wars universe, and Disney definitely would never have offered George to buy the company. And then
Why
he
didn't you
chuckled.
make them? You could have saved us all.
He says it's one of the great disappointments of our life, but the problem was each episode was bigger than the films. So the lowest I could get down to with the technology that existed then was about $40 million an episode.
I'm hearing Howard Stark saying something about being limited by the technology of his day.
This wasn't supposed to be some short project either.
No, it was like 100 episodes or something great, and they had the scripts for it, and
2008, Lucas had revealed he wanted to do 100 episodes no matter what. I mean, 60 episodes is $2.4 billion, which is like half of what Disney paid to get.
It would have been worth
Lucasfilm.
it. Would have been so worth it.
I
Though
mean,
I think Disney would have bought it anyway. I think that's kind of.
Another comparison: Game of Thrones spent 10 to
15?
12 to 15,
10,
something
15,
like that.
20, I think for the high end. Yeah.
Yeah, to produce Game of Thrones. 10 episodes then of that show would have cost $400 million.
Money well spent, George. Money.
That's
Well, you
more
could have
expensive
bankrupted
than
yourself.
like what
It
the
would have
most.
fine.
What do the most expensive movies cost? What do James Cameron movies cost?
I think a little more than that, but he's on like Force Awakens. I think was like last we heard like 533 million for that
but
movie.
This would have been back in the day.
Yeah,
This would have been,
I don't know if this is inflation or non-inflation, but I mean, I'm kind of joking. That's a ton of money for one episode of a show. That's a lot of like 400 million for.
I wonder how it compares though to how much it costs to make a Lord of the Rings of Power episode.
Those are God.
Those are
like
pricey,
25,
right?
30 million. Don't quote me on that. I know they're stupid expensive. Yeah.
Right. Lucas had talked about it over the years, saying that he wanted like
This was his thing. Yeah.
dramatic effects and features. He said that feature films were costing 250 to 300 million. They're going to figure it out. They'd be able to make a feature film with the technology he thought they were going to get for 50 million.
Yeah, and it hasn't exactly worked that way.
No, he didn't. He thought this was an experimental type thing. He was doing some crazy things. I would kind of like to see maybe a novelization of what his idea was, even if they come out with just like a Legends type book for it. I'd be really interested to see what the story was going to be in this.
Well, they really talked about it being dark and gritty and not being very Star Wars-like.
Lucas had said
it kind of feels like Andor.
Yeah, well, Lucas has said it was going to be a lot more talky. It's more of what you would call a soap opera with a bunch of personal dramas in it. It would be more based on film noir movies from the 40s. That it was going to take place over the 20 years when Luke's growing up, but not at all about the Skywalkers or any of that.
It would have been Andor in a way, I think. I think it was more criminal underworld.
It was more
criminal
it was called
Underworld, yeah.
Right, where we're kind of seeing the rebellion underworld.
Yeah, in a manner of speaking, yeah.
Even McCallum said it was much darker, much more adult than the films, saying it was like The Empire Strikes Back on steroids, that it was going to be set on Coruscant, the once glistening capital, home to the Grand Temple of the Jedi and the Galactic Senate. It was going to take place on Coruscant. We know that it got shelved. We know that Lucasfilm sold in 2012.
Yep.
And then, interestingly, Mandalorian, their streaming start on Disney Plus, that first season was $12.5 million per episode. And it looks pretty good.
It looks fine.
What would he have been able to do, I wonder? Would he have been able to make Underworld if he had access to the volume?
I mean, I don't know.
I think the volume does add a lot of value.
When used right, it can be amazing. When used wrong, it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, I think.
True. But it sounds like if you're taking place in the dark alleys of Coruscant, you're going to be running with a smaller set, so the volume could have worked really well for them.
I agree. I would love to see the alternate reality where he made this, or waited to make it and never sold, and now we're watching Star Wars Underworld. We're in like season 5 of it right now. We're like, yeah, thanks, George.
Thanks, George. This is great.
Or maybe we'd all hate it because, you know, we're always arguing over what is good and what isn't good Star Wars, it seems, in this fandom, which is it's part of the game, I think.
Yes, it is.
It just is.
So I really would have loved to see this, but it sounds like this would have been far too pricey to actually
I think you
make
should have done it.
$40 million an episode.
It's not my money.
All right, let's move into new this week in Star Wars, etc. Stop. Today, I can announce that we are 6 weeks out from Andor Season 2.
Not soon enough, it is.
And there will be a Meme Monday tonight.
Yes, there will. It's a good one, too. I feel like I was on fire.
Not in the good way.
Nah, I thought it was good.
Tomorrow, Tuesday, Daredevil Born Again, Episode 3, 8 p.m. Central Time. Super exciting, because I enjoyed the first 2 episodes.
Good stuff. Caesar, Episode 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. We also are getting a book from Star Wars. We're getting Star Wars Complete Locations, New Edition.
I was going to say, I think we've got a complete edition of that for like 5 times.
What's interesting about this edition, it has, you know, the 60 intricate full-color art maps, 3D maps, iconic locations. This updated edition now includes cross-sections from The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, Rogue One, Solo, The Mandalorian, and Andor.
So all the new stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because they're going to show you the secrets of Vader's castle, the Jedi ruins on Ahch-To, Canto Bight, but most interesting to me, the bright and beautiful efficiency of Narkia 5 prison complex. I would love to see a cross-section to see what this actually looks like on the inside.
Yeah, so with the prisoners before that. Let's still get out, though.
Okay, let's move into Wednesday. For comics, we have Legacy of Vader #2, which we'll talk about after we read it.
Yeah, we kind of didn't talk about the first one yet. Because
we did.
A little bit. It was like a little blurb, I think we said on it.
Well, then we'll have to make it a bigger blurb. All right, this is the return to Tatooine, where Kylo is seeking out the home planet of his grandpappy Anakin. The young tyrant will go against Gardula the Hutt, her guards, a Rancor, and supposedly we'll find out some secrets in Mos Espa.
All right.
He's got to do everything Luke did and do it better, right?
Apparently.
Gotta fight a Hutt. I'm gonna fight Hutt guards. Gonna fight a Rancor. Why not? He's gonna do it all. I don't know why there's a Rancor there. Book of Boba Fett makes me think that the Rancor, once it died, didn't come back.
There could be multiple.
Well, then again,
it wasn't even the same
this would
Rancor.
be after Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So I guess, oh my god, why is he killing Boba Fett's Rancor?
Maybe it's a different Rancor. There's a lot of Rancors.
Like, and how did Gardula the Hutt now going to be in charge there? I thought Boba was. I've got questions before I even read this.
Well, this could be many years. This would be many years after.
It would be.
It reveals the fate of Boba Fett.
It kind of might.
Kind of does in a way, maybe. Who knows?
Because I would assume Boba might still be reigning, and that might still be Boba's Rancor.
Maybe.
Because Mando timeline is...
It's like 25 years before the sequels.
Yeah.
So
there's a big chance that that could be the same Rancor. Because I thought they said it was like a young Rancor when Boba got it.
Yeah, it was kind of smaller.
All right. Thursday, we have voice chat, 8 p.m. Central Time. Friday is Severance, Season 2, Episode 9.
Indeed.
Yes, it's been a slower burn this season.
It has been, yeah.
But intrigue. A lot of intrigue. A lot of questions being answered. We're learning more.
A lot of questions being
I'm excited about
brought
it.
up, too.
Mm-hmm. That's all I got.
All right. Well, then that is going to be all we got for you this time. Now it is your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you think of any and all of today's news. Should George have spent the 40 mil per episode to give us Underworld? Whatever you think, leave your comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.